Hey, everybody. Hey, what's been your biggest hurdle this week? Let's talk about that when we come back right after this.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena. I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
I like that little groovy song. Hey, guys. How's everybody doing? Hey, just in case anybody is wondering, you know who was first today? I can tell you. You know who it was? It was James Vaughn. At 3:55 p.m. my time, Eastern. He said, howdy. And then he said his Sikh greeting, which I cannot say because those letters don't make words in my brain. Sorry. And he was first. And then Trucker Tim and him started talking. So Trucker Tim, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Let's see who else is in here. There's a bunch of you came in here towards the end, or towards the start, I should say, not towards the end. Like we have like these whole conversations before the show in the chat. It's kind of funny. We'll sit there and talk for like half hour, something like that. Go back and forth. Let's see. Matt was there. Chris Hamilton is here. The Morton family is there. Jeff is not. Jeff is in the process of making a delivery, picking up a empty trailer that's got a hole in the roof right now. A 22, someone got a hole in the roof, and he's on his way over to the Lancaster terminal. Hey, if you're in the Lancaster terminal, maybe you can run into him, or maybe not. I don't know. Don't actually hit him. That would be bad. Nobody needs that. Let's see. Matt Nissen, I said, was here. Yeah, I said Matt was here. Hi, Matt. I'm scrolling. CW is all up in this place. I see you, CW. Yeah, we were talking about parking in Orlando because Chris Hamilton's heading over there in Orlando. It sucks to park over there. Like, I've never actually had to park over there. I usually just leave because I'm like, a couple hours from the house there at that point. So yeah, I've just never had to stay over there. So I don't even know where to recommend anybody park over there. It just sucks. Hopefully you're not there long. I don't even know what to tell you, man. I did check in with Sue Smith, and I said, hey, how's freight coming out of there? And she said they've been managing to clear everyone out on a daily basis. Let's hope they keep that up. Not great loads, but they're loads out. So Chris, if you're listening, brother, whatever they get you getting out, take it, man. I'm best advice I got for you right now. Let's see. More people popped in. Bitcoin John. Hey, Bitcoin John. Everybody with me now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Nobody's singing with me. Nobody's singing. Hey, happy birthday, Bitcoin John. 52, brother. Welcome to the club. Oh man, good on you, brother. I'm glad. Jim Wall's all up in here. Good to see you, Jim. Even though I annoy Jim, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't think he minds too much. He comes back. Hey, Jim, I'm the only one here. Jeff's not here. Are you leaving? Or you can stay. I'm just saying he'll be here in a minute. Don't leave. I'm just playing. Look, it's just fun to pick on stuff like that because look, I am a handful. I know this. I understand. I am something to deal with sometimes, and there are moments when I am something else. Victor, ¿cómo estás? Oh, let's see. Wait, I gotta say it the right way. Mi hermano, hola, because it's fun to do that. I apologize. Still scrolling. There's been a lot of chat since we started earlier, messing around in here. Yep. Trying to scroll. It's been a lot of messages. I said the Morton family. Hi, Morton family. Donna's driving, so one of the younger Mortons is typing for her. Craig's up in here. Good to see you, Craig. Let's see. Who else? Sorry, I'm getting back to the bottom now. I'm getting close. Jeff's not dead. Jeff is not dead. I didn't write "Is Jeff dead?" Who wrote "Is Jeff dead?" Somebody wrote "Is Jeff dead?" I didn't do that. I bet you it was Jeff. That's funny. It's actually really fun. Oh, Life on 18 Wheels. Good to see you. Mike Anderson. Good to see you. John C. Bear Hunter. I got stuck on the Jeff is dead thing. Is Jeff dead? Oh my God. Rosie, my wife. Oh, look at her. Wishing Bitcoin John a happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños. Never mind. Nobody wants to hear me sing. Blackbeard, what's going, dude? I have not been to the Ocala terminal, bro, in forever. I still got your light though. I have not given it away. I actually have more I could give away. Just saying. Got to figure out a way to give those away. That'd be cool. Hey, Jim, I appreciate, buddy. You've gotten used to me. I dig it, man. Look. A lot of people, when they first meet me or first interact with me, they just don't know how to deal with me, man. Look, I'm going to tell you, I am haunting you. It is Jeff. Jeff, you better hurry up and get to a place where you can put your camera on, you low down, dirty scoundrel. See, look, I can fix my language sometimes, and I don't even have anybody here to put me in check. Just saying. Chris Hamilton won't turn down anything. Good call right now, brother. I'm just saying, whatever makes you move is probably going to be a great bet. And, like I said, hopefully you got a chance to reach out to Sue. I don't know if you did or not. I'm hoping you got to introduce yourself to Sue. If not, maybe tomorrow would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, you do have somebody to keep you in check.
Oh, dang it. Rosie just walked in and said, yes, I do have someone to keep me in check. Ow. She's not nice to me. She's very mean to me sometimes. I don't understand. I'm just saying. Oh, texting while driving, Jeff? Don't answer that question. We're gonna assume that he is there. He is set up. He's trying to set up, and just why you want to bust a man out, CW? That ain't cool. I'm just saying. Oh my God. Trucker Dan, what's up, buddy? On my way to the terminal in West Valley City, Utah. Matt, right? Definitely Port Charlie. Poor Charlie. So, oh wow, that's kind of a crazy load, Jim. Just turned on 550 empty miles for 400-mile load. Yeah, I could see that. Especially, okay. So I can tell you from my perspective, not busting anyone out. We all got to make these decisions. So don't take what I'm about to say crazy, okay? Depending on where I had to go empty, the terrain to get there, and how long I'd been waiting or potentially waiting, I've done loads like that because it was more profitable to take the load than to sit and wait. So I don't know. It's a thing. Yeah, CW's parked on the fuel island. No doubt. Oh my God. Life on 18 wheels. When the rental's giving problems, it's time to take it back to get your truck. You think? Because they're going to charge you for some problems. I'm just saying don't even get me started on that right now, because there's a weird thing with rentals that just, man. Yeah. Okay, that's just funny. Wahahaha. Good job, Rosie. Yes, that is good job, Rosie. And I can read that because that's how my brain works right there. My brain works like that all the time. I like it. That's awesome. Oh, man. So, what have been your big challenges this week? That's what I'd like to start with. If any of you guys want to share any of those, I think it'd be a good discussion. There is all kinds of things we can dip into, but because this is community driven, that means you right there. We need you guys to chip in with what's got you up at night, what's keeping you worried about tomorrow or next week. I think those are some good discussions, and I think we should never shy away from those things. There is Craig put up a cool video this week in the private Facebook group for Contractors Corner for the Swift contractors in that group. Which diesel anti-gel is best. And this guy did a lot of really cool testing with this stuff. And you know what? This guy changed my mind on some products, because Jeff and I have always been under the opinion that, they're all the same type of product. They all are, whatever. And I got to say that seeing these tests done side by side was pretty cool. I need to go back and watch it some more, but because I want to actually pay some good hard attention to it. And I thought it was very interesting. I will say this, Jeff and I aren't 100% right. I know that's hard to believe for some. We've never made claims to be 100% right. And Jeff and I on a regular basis find ourselves in positions where, like, oh, well, that's interesting information. And it might change the way we look at a certain thing, a way to do something, or a certain product. But I'm going to address a little dirty laundry here, and Jeff will get mad at me for doing it. But when we get a comment telling us that we should just keep our mouth shut if we don't have the best answer, I don't know. I don't think that's a very constructive way to handle something like that. And I said as much in the group, but so I'll just leave that there. Not going to dwell on that. But you know what? Jeff and I are wrong fairly every now and then, right? And you guys know that when we're wrong, we like to let you know, hey, we were wrong about this. We don't erase anything. We don't delete things. We don't delete comments or things like that. A lot of other people delete comments when they're wrong and they get proven wrong. Things like, not us. We're like, man, check this out. We were dead fast on this thing, and we got schooled properly and learned something and open to learning new things. I don't know. I wish more people were like us. I know that sounds weird to say, not trying to toot my horn, but I wish more people were open to actually learning. Have an opinion, that's great. But definitely, be willing to discuss things and get into things. I don't know. So Life on 18 Wheels said ice. Big challenge this week. I feel you, man. Well, you said what it was fun. I don't know. I look, okay. I may have had fun in the ice in a commercial truck once or twice back in the day when I was, running around in Washington. I may or may not have done donuts with a trailer and a trolley brake on a very old truck as a company driver way back when. Just saying, it could happen. Just picture that. I just want you to picture that. Big, wide, open parking lot. Don't do this. None of you try this at home. Nothing out there, not even light poles. Huge open mall parking lot. Complete sheet of ice. I may have got the truck moving a little bit, pulled that trolley brake on a slight turn, which then turned into this. I'm just saying it was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. I'm telling you, it's bad. Oh my God. But hey, you know, okay. In my defense, I used it as a learning. I was learning how the trolley brake affected the trailer on ice. Anyone gonna bite on that? I'm gonna let's just let that go now. Oh, let's see. Let me go through some here. Apologize while I scroll through the comments. That's a rough one, Matt. Just had the deadhead from Ohio back to Danvers, Tennessee, 530 empty to do a 230 loaded. But that actually probably helped you. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, you could comment on that, but I bet it actually helped out in the long run. Oh. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Bear with me. Oh, James Vaughn is saying, I know 75% of us are not registered to go to California, if not more. I guess that's a big stink in the office. Whatever. I haven't been out there yet since all this nonsense happened. I'm not even worried about it. Hey, Jim, I appreciate that statement. We may not always have the best answer, but we are open to discussion. Absolutely. And I mean, we don't claim to know it all. We have ways to do things that we do. Like we are pretty set in a lot of the things that we do in the way that we handle those. And that's because we found over the, decade and a half of doing what we've been doing, that these ways work easiest or best for us. And we tell you people that, there's a million ways to skin a cat. Not all of them are great. Not all of them are perfect. Some of them are wrong. Right. But we are definitely down to learn new things. When we find things that give us a way to learn something new, we are all about it. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Jim. Let's see. Matt said he did it in Augusta. We're gonna get in trouble talking about this. Did it in Augusta, talking about the drifting. Parking lot was ice rink and trailer tandem was frozen. Had to get it loose somehow. Yes, there you go. That's a good way to that my brakes were not frozen. I don't know what you're talking about, Donna. I don't even know what you said. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble now.
Why are you in trouble?
Because you're here yelling at me.
Ah!
I didn't do anything. My bad. Let's see.
I had to address something.
Ooh.
Stop signs and stoplights. What are you saying?
Oh, God. The
vehicle was not in motion. This camera's wonky on the phone, though.
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to chime in real quick. What did I miss? I think I'm like 2 minutes behind.
Not a whole lot yet. I went off and talked about some stuff in the private Facebook group that I probably should have just left there, but I didn't because I can't help myself because I'm a terrible person. You weren't here to stop me. So whatever. I don't even care. Whatever.
So check this out just so everybody's aware of what it's doing in frickin' Dallas, Fort Worth right now. I don't know if people can see that or not, but it has been foggy here all frickin' day. I drove in fog all the way from Amarillo down to here.
You started in freezing fog.
I started in freezing fog, yes.
That is the scariest weather condition that I've ever experienced in my life, personally. Yep. Freezing fog freaks me the fog out. That was good. Oh man, Don, I should get a cookie for that. I'm just gonna throw it out.
So I have to go talk to the shop. So when I duck out, that's why.
Yep. Go handle
But-
your trailer
but yeah.
whole business, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm the dude with the hole in his roof.
I dig. It's funny.
And there's another one of those times where we get to prove, Charlie, that we actually do like run trucking businesses.
Right? Yeah. You guys don't. You are not drivers. You don't know nothing. I just happen to have a schedule where I get to do the show from home every week. Most weeks. I mean, there's been a couple where I've done it on the road, but even then, people are like, "Oh, that's like a fake background. He's not in a truck."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of understood it in the old truck because of the remodel, but
Let's see. Madness said, "Yeah, it was a reward for a dedicated account is worth it in the end. Absolutely." That long deadhead. I got you. TK says, "Don't we owe him money, Jeff?"
oh, who money?
TK. I think TK owes us money. I think that we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I mean, huh?
TK, we're waiting on a check, brother. No, wait. We want cash.
I want gold.
Go. Yes. I'll take
I
silver.
I, I
Or
just
platinum.
I just listened to a podcast today with Kiyosaki, and I was telling you, Charlie, it's been
Oh,
years
yeah.
since I've actually listened to that guy, but dude, he has opinions, and he's not afraid to tell them. That dude is 100% in gold, silver, and Bitcoin right now.
That's the one you sent me, right? That I need
Yeah.
to listen to? Yeah, I just haven't got to it yet.
All right, I'm ducking out for a minute.
All right, we'll see you in a few, man. Thanks, dude. Mike Henderson said there used to be a school in Idaho that had these trailers with big training wheels on the sides of the trailer. They would let you see how it feels when the trailer tips over. I really want to try. Oh my God, that would be awesome. Like I want to get on one of those test tracks with those things and the whole trailer sliding ice simulator. And oh my God, that would be so much fun. Sean Fairman said, will you ever push to be a fleet owner like Jeff is adding trucks? I had a fleet at one time, Sean. I only had 3 trucks. I was terribly annoyed by the entire ordeal. Employees are trying. I paid a percentage of what the truck netted. So I had guys that were running phenomenal fuel mileage. I mean, I had a guy that he would drive like 57 almost everywhere. And if he could get away with it, he'd drive 53 to get the best fuel mileage possible. And those guys were making money. I mean, I paid out 80% of the truck's net and they were making money. And then it turned into, well, we want more time off, but we want to make more money. I'm like, look, I'm paying you 80%. I don't know what to tell you. And then I just got tired of it and I gave the trucks away. Actually, I did. I gave the truck. I'm like, here, take over the payments and you can have it. And that's what one of them did. Took over my T680 that I had at the time. The T660 I had actually went back to Swift at the end of its lease and it was fine. Alan Becker, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're there. It's been a while since we've seen you on here, man. He said, yeah, he's been working hard. Get him, CW. I'm going to put that up just fun. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, turn your flashes off. It's annoying. I was going to say something, but it was more fun just to let that happen. Look, I can see him peeking. He's got to do things, but I can see him peeking. He's still in the studio, and I can see his face. He's like this. I see him in the camera like this. He looks like Kilroy. I'm just saying. I wish you guys could see it. It'd be hilarious. I told you watch out for them trees, Jeff. I'm not even sure what that is, but okay. Yes. Oh, I get it. The hole in the roof. It wasn't him. He picked it up that way. It was pretty funny. Oh, welcome back, Jeff.
I'm Kilroy.
Kilroy. It's funny. Oh my God.
Man. So yeah, apparently they had a bunch of these things come in all at once. So the dude's just like, yeah, go park it in the yard. We'll find it.
Oh God.
But hey, you know what I did though? This has come up in the Facebooks time and time again. Did I just drop it in the yard and say,
right,
up yours, next driver? No. I went and talked to the shop and got it reported.
Right? Crazy talk. Alan Becker said he's disputing a rental as it.
Mm-hmm.
I had
We've
it
been
a
talking
week,
about that.
only ran 1,900 miles on it, and they're trying to charge them $1,300 for a new driver prep. That's crazy, and absolutely fight that. And I don't even understand how that happened. TK said he is going to pay us in gold bars, so there you go. We can expect that delivery, I'm sure, tomorrow, expedited.
Oh, nice. And then we'll give it to Bitcoin John, who will teach us how to convert it over into Bitcoin.
Right? I think what you do is you chip it away. You chip away at the gold bullion,
Oh, okay.
and it makes bits of bit.
Bits of coin.
There you go. We got it. We're smart. We're learning technologies today.
All right, give me another 5 minutes, guys, and I'll be back.
Right? Matt Nissen, that's what I'm talking about. I'll take pew pews. You can pay me in guns, people. I'm just saying. Firearms. I don't even know if that's a word, Don. You're gonna have to let me know if that's a word I'm not supposed to use. I didn't show one. I mean, I could. I could show a firearm right now, but I feel like that's a bad thing with this monetized channel thing. Donna will surely beat me if I did that and it was wrong. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So I guess Alan's had it held twice and they still haven't canceled it. That sucks. Yeah, it's exactly right. It's not their money, so they're in no rush to handle that. Let's just be real. Yeah, Trucker Tim, Bush Beans, I knew about their slowdown. Sorry, I got an itch on my calf. Hard to reach. You know, CW, come to think of it, you're right. And you know what's funny about that is that's not a thing. Like, yeah, okay. So, like Donna said, talking about them is okay, showing not so much, right? It's weird. Like, it's weird. Like, there are certain words that will not only get you demonetized, but will get your channel shut down. And you don't even have to be using the word in a derogatory manner. You can be talking about a situation that happened and use specific words, and they will shut your live show off mid-word. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But whatever, free speech, my butt. It's their platform, their world, their rules. That's just how it works. It's unfortunate. Model my posters, right? Oh my God, that's great. Life on 18 wheels. Y'all scare me about this rental. Now I'm scared to turn in. Right? Look, man, it's crazy, dude. Like I can tell you, I've only had one rental. I didn't have a problem with it, so it just went. I ran it for a week, ran out to Phoenix from Lancaster while I was getting an EGR valve replaced, and back. That was it. And I hated it. It was the first automatic I drove, and that was the one that made me swear I would never drive an automatic. It was terrible. And then I had to eat my words. Yeah, that was fun. Just saying. Oh, and just in case nobody's asked, but I'm gonna put it up anyhow. There's for you Swift contractor guys. There's your fuel surcharge this week. Excuse me. I can't get rid of this cough from the flu 3 or 4 weeks ago or whatever it was. It's crazy. Like it's just still sitting there. There's nothing else. My sinuses are still a little batty because, well, I don't know. We went from 13 degrees in Birmingham the other morning. Oh, and that brings up something else. I'm going to come back to that. It was like 76 degrees today here at the house. Supposed to be 80 tomorrow, 81 the next day. Like I don't even know how I don't get sick. Like seriously. It's a weird thing. So I saw guys 2 weeks ago and last week talking about how their fuel is gelling up while they're idling, right? And I thought, well, that's crazy. And then I experienced a thing. I absolutely experienced a thing this week in Birmingham, 13-degree air temperature out there. And the truck had not been turned off since the night before when we left. I had been sitting idling for about an hour waiting for a store to unload me in Birmingham. 13 degrees in Birmingham. The world is broken. Let's just move on from that. So here's the thing. My water temperature dropped below 100 on my water temperature gauge, and my heater started blowing cold. So at that temperature, even with the fuel cycling, it won't keep it from gelling. So it's crazy. And that's with a high idle at 900 on my Freightliner. What I ended up having to do after about an hour of shivering, Rosie was fine. She was under a bunch of blankets. And I looked back there and checked on her, and she was just like happy as a clam. She was like 5 blankets on her because that's just how we do anyhow. And she was good. It was crazy. And I was up there shivering, wearing warm clothes and shivering. It was nuts. I ended up having to stand on the throttle for about half hour to get the temperature up over 125, close to 150. And then all of a sudden it was running fine. And for the next hour, the temperature never dropped on the truck, even though it was still 13 degrees outside. And the heater ran fine, but it was weird. So there's a thing. And clearly I need a winter front. Hey, Alan, question for you. Is it possible my thermostat was just stuck open, and rather than allowing the motor water to heat up, it was just free flowing through the radiator and constantly cooling, so it was never getting warm? That's a question for you, Alan Becker. I just want you to answer that question. Yeah, so I actually was diagnosed with influenza A, which is the first time in, I can't even remember the last time I was actually diagnosed with flu, and having been tested multiple times over the last decade or so. It's the first time I've actually been diagnosed with the flu, and it is just kicking my butt. Rosie can't seem to shake it out of her chest either. My daughter's the same way. Everybody else seemed to clear up, but the three of us are just ruined. It's crazy. Like, I don't even know how to get rid of it. So Alan's got an answer for me. Yes, it's possible, but even newer models will need the winter grill covers to help it stay warm. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, man. But okay, so the winter grill covers, and here's a question that I think we need to pose to IEL, and I think I may try to dip in with them on that. Is those winter grill covers, everyone I've ever seen, you have to install snaps around the grill for that thing to attach to. Are they going to slam us for doing that? I don't know. I actually contemplated going out and buying a custom grill for this, 23 Cascadia that I could replace later if and when I turn the truck in, that has my own little snaps for a winter front. I've never had to even think about using a winter front on Chewy or my T680 or my T660. And I ran that T660 and all of them in minus 40 degrees all the time and never had problems like that while idling. It just never happened. But these new trucks, I don't know, man. Maybe they're just so heat efficient that they
Why
just
why do you hate the new truck so much, Charlie?
I don't. I'm just trying to figure out how to work it. You know what I mean? It's a learning thing, right? But I wonder, is IEL gonna ding us for putting the snaps on our lease truck for a winter front?
I'll go one step further. Would IEL just give them to us?
That would be awesome. Oh, Alan said they make new clips that fit the gap of the grill fins that won't require any drilling or screws. Oh, well, cool. See that? Look, man, learning something new every day, Jeff.
Yeah.
Alan, Rosie said thank you. That's good to know. Look at that, Rosie all being in the show today. Hey, babe, I know you're back there. She can't see me, can't actually hear me. She's going to hear this in like 20 seconds. It's funny.
So I know why you keep that door closed, because you don't want a slider hitting you in the head.
It happens. She just walked in a little while ago and poked me in the side of the head when I said there was no one here to keep me in check. She's like, "Oh yes, I am." Pow, and hit me in the side of the head with her finger. That was not cool.
Nice.
Whatever. Oh, CW said, buy a screen that snaps in and turn it in with it. Should cover any issue as long as it looks good. Yeah, that's possible. Life on 18 Wheels. Have y'all seen the new Volvos? Someone
like the 24s, 25s, whatever they're at now.
There's like a body change. I heard someone talking about somewhere. I can't remember. Was it in here earlier? Might have been here, even in this chat earlier before the show started. They were talking about narrower or something.
Huh. Yeah, there was a discussion on the Facebooks this week, Freightliner or Volvo and why.
Right?
And I thought there was a pretty good discussion about that.
There was, and there was a lot of good input from both sides. People taking either side, one or the other. And you know what was cool? It was non-combative.
Freaking Volvo drivers. I mean, come on.
But how crazy is that? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
clearly people had opinions, and no one got mad that I can recall. I mean, I could scroll through it now, but I don't remember seeing anyone get upset like some other people did today about other things. Whatever.
I was driving. I wasn't paying attention to that.
I'm so
nonsense.
glad you didn't. You're gonna. I bet it's gonna ruffle you later.
Is it going to keep me up tonight?
No, but it's gonna ruffle you a little bit, I think. But you know what? I think I took care of it.
Okay.
I commented twice back, and I think it's, or it's not, whatever.
Look, man.
So, diesel prices went down this week, not a ton. The West Coast Pad 5 went down enough that it dropped you guys from 11 to 10 cents, though, because it's now 0.666 differential between Pad 5 and the national average.
How appropriate for California.
Right? I thought that exact same thing. Oh, man.
So Charlie, in keeping with the spirit of the whole what we're trying to do with the show these days,
right?
California keeps coming up in the Facebooks. That's one thing, and some discussions with folks about out there with their own authority was kind of interesting this week, dude.
Right.
I just shake my head at some of these people. I think a lot of them, there's a lot of people that I kid you not, they buy a truck, then get a CEL and try to run load board freight, not knowing anything at all about the business, man. Not a thing.
Right.
It baffles my mind. You know what we just talked about, the fuel prices. There was a question on another group, and I'm not going to call people out by group because I just don't think that's cool. But yeah, his question was about getting fuel surcharges from brokers. And of all the comments on there, calling him an idiot. And I'll toot my horn here, Charlie. I'm the only one that gave the dude an actual something he could use. I told him about the EIA website, how to get to it, how to look at the data, and said, look, man, keep this in your hip pocket. And when you're negotiating your rates, keep in mind what the fuel costs are in your region and use that appropriately. Because here's the thing, a lot of you guys that are leased to the mega carriers like we are, we just aren't part of that world. And these brokers, if they figure out that you don't know what your cost of doing business is, dude, they will take you to town.
Right.
They'll convince you that I mean, I saw one, a broker out of, where was it, like New Mexico or something, was trying to tell this dude, well, I don't know why you're wanting more money. Fuel's only $2.50 a gallon. And I'm like, wait, what? It hasn't been below 4 at that point in like 2 months.
Right.
But here's the thing, the dude didn't know what the average fuel prices were. And this is another case, if I was talking to a broker, Charlie,
right,
and they told me something like that, I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you an email and educate you.
Right.
This is what the government says the average diesel fuel price is in the United States. And oh, look, New Mexico's a little higher than that when we look at each region.
Right.
And then the broker probably will just say, oh, we don't need you. But then you don't want to work with that guy anyway. So
yeah,
I'm just saying.
It's crazy, man. Like I don't know who. I'm curious. Just because you said New Mexico, I'm actually trying to look at the EIA site to figure out where New Mexico falls. I don't know where they fall though.
Yeah,
it can't be Rocky Mountain. I don't know. I don't know. That's another squirrel. Yeah, it's crazy. Alan said, if you're going to get your own authority, you better have 15, 20K in the bank to survive unless you plan on using factoring companies and throwing money away.
Because that's definitely not growing. That's definitely not growing, Alan.
That's throwing money away. I got you. He said brokers will kill your business faster than no knowledge. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alan's got a thing going on. Like he's got a hotshot truck that he's building. He just acquired a piece of equipment and now he's going to convert it over for a hotshot deal. So that's going to be fun. He's going to be out there running his own numbers on that deal. And that's, I can't wait to watch the progress on that. That's going to be fun to watch evolve.
Yeah. And we'll make sure everybody on the free Facebook group sees what goes on with that. How's that?
Right.
I'm just going to put that out there.
On the page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. CW, this is another thing, you guys, we talk to a lot of guys. I'm just going to go get my own numbers. And they don't think about stuff like this. Brokers load that 90-day net. Right. And for those of you, if you don't know what a 90-day net is, dude, seriously, call us and we will convince you not to go out and get your own authority, because that's just basic business 101.
Right.
But because we like to answer questions, net 90 means you might not get paid for 90 days.
Right. They're not obligated to get you paid until that 90th day.
If you look at your SWIFT independent contractors operating agreement, the ICOA, our contract, SWIFT's actually on a net 15. So that's one of those things. Is it annoying? Yes. But when you guys come to us, say, hey, I didn't get paid for this load this week, we're like, well, they'd have actually 15 days to pay you.
Right.
So there's no contractual thing there. Is it annoying? Absolutely. But that's the thing. We've seen it. Those guys running that Northeast Regional, they're a hard net 15 last time we heard.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. But and then it's weird because then it's not. It's hard to plan when you don't know. Just plan on it coming sometime in the next 15 days.
Right.
And hope you're good.
And that's assuming that you transmitted your paperwork.
Right.
Because any of that net 30, net 90, net 15, that's contingent on them getting paid. That's what that is. They don't pay you till they get paid. And so they need paperwork for that. So that net time starts when you transmit that paperwork. So you need to be aware of that as well.
And
Swift Logistics is net 30, Alan says. I didn't know that.
In the contract, let's put it up there because I got bits of this already sitting on my screen. So I'm going to pull this up because it's fun. Share screen. Window. Right there, that one. I can throw that up. Oh, there you go.
Definitely can't see that on a phone, but okay.
Yeah. So let me zoom in here as far as I can get to fit that screen. So required documentation settlement period. Company shall pay gross compensation consolidated for settlement purposes for all equipment under this agreement to contractor within 15 calendar days of contractor submission to the company of all daily logs required by the DOT and any other documents necessary to secure payment, including but not limited to any receipts for lumpers, blah, 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 blah. 15 days, y'all. But they pay us every week. Just saying. They are not obligated to until 15 days. And that's after you get them everything. Logs included.
I still miss the days of accelerated pay.
I do too.
I liked that.
Yeah. I feel like I missed some question. What
about Planner's Trucker Tim? Did he say something else that I'm missing?
It was this comment here. So I have to brag on both the Greer and Jonestown planters. That's what he's correcting. Planners.
Oh, okay.
They actually respond to my Mac 9 and kept me moving over the weekend. Mac 9 or Mac 10?
Mac 10.
He might have done a counter or something like that on Mac 9. We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a possibility. Greer was $3.58 a gallon across the interstate. At the QT was $3.28. Yep. I was talking.
Yeah, I just did one of those yesterday. I paid $3.09 at a QT in just outside of Denver, and there was a Love's across the street that was $3.49. And I just, I get it when I see company trucks over there,
right?
And I didn't check the ES price to see if the discount market was better there,
right?
But by and large, when I see owner operators fueling at the higher price, you know, I just kind of I wonder at that, you know. That's
Right.
that is a choice to make less money right there.
Yeah.
That is what that is.
Bector said a factoring company will charge you 3 to 5%. Then they even take 24 to 72 hours to pay. Hey, TJ. Hi.
Well,
They can always
and the other thing about factoring, Charlie, that so I always just assume that they took all the risk, right?
right.
Nay,
And they
nay,
don't.
Ether Bunny.
Yeah,
If they don't get paid within that net 90, they take that money back from you.
it's crazy.
So then you got to hit the bond of that broker, which, from what I understand, is either a slam dunk or it takes you 5 years.
Right. Alan said when he starts with both with Swift Logistics and the Hot Shot side, he'll show his income average expense report for both sides. That'd be cool, man. Like that's gonna be a fun experiment to watch grow. I just Life on 19 wheels. They need that shower credit. I guess so. If they were utilizing our Yes, Advantage fuel card, and they fueled at one of those truck stops in there that gives us platinum status for being on that account. They would have a shower every day. Just saying, and a coffee and a soda. Just saying, every day.
Well,
Uh,
I saved $20 on that fuel up. Was what I figured out I've saved. A shower costs 15. I could go buy a shower and still be up $5.
right?
Instead, what I did was I bought 2 brisket tacos
Exactly.
with my savings.
Those things are the devil. Like every time I walk into QT, because it's damn near daily for me, they're calling me, Charlie, put us in your mouth. Come eat me. That sounds weird, but they're taunting me all the same.
James Vaughn apparently is following me, by the way.
Oh, there you go. 309 there at the QT. They're outside of Denver. That was a nice price. Alan said, "Yep, y'all know I'll be calling you through it all. Yep, I hear you. I'm glad too."
Yeah, you
And
can't call
yeah,
if you call Alan just to be buddy, he won't answer the phone. But I tell you what, you text him with a question about money, and he's on it, man.
right? It's a trip. Can't get him just to chit
That
chat.
dude is all business.
Yeah, you start talking business, man. He becomes on fire, and then you can get the chit chatting in. Figure that out. Whatever. I love it. I think it's fun. Like there will be like months where we won't hear from Alan at all, and then all of a sudden we'll bring up some sort of business thing, and bam, we're like in it like it's hot.
Oh yeah.
I like it. It's fun. Alan keeps you on your toes too when you start talking business with him, because Alan is definitely a risk taker. He has
Oh
a
yeah.
very high tolerance for risk, where others do not. And it's fun because he's one side of the extreme versus the other side of the extreme. I got to get that in the frame. One side of the extreme versus the other side of the extreme. And it's fun to watch it all come to fruition or burn down in flames. And totally open and totally okay with it because it's all a learning experience. And I dig that. I love he definitely embodies the entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh yeah.
You see what I did there, Jeff?
I did.
You like that?
I do.
We're going to be talking about the entrepreneurial spirit in our closed community there that we set up, and Jeff just vanished. That was awesome. He just killed himself in the truck. Not really, but he killed his feed because he vanished out of the studio when he did whatever he just did. It was great. James said, sad part, those brisket tacos smell great, but since don't meat is kosher, kill or not, I can't eat it. Oh, that sucks. Oh, because you got the Sikh thing going on. Yeah, you could ask them. Maybe they could give you an answer. I don't know. It's possible. They might actually know the answer. James Bond was talking about how he can't eat the brisket tacos because he doesn't know if it's kosher, killed or not. I don't believe Sikhs can do the kosher thing, following their food requirements.
Oh,
correct me if I'm wrong, James. I believe that's the approach you take. Correct? You cannot do kosher. I'm just it's a thing. Yeah. So following Alan is always fun when he starts doing new business things because we learn a lot with Alan. It's very much fun to do. And sometimes there's a big ugly mistake and we're like, dang it. And other times there's like these major aha moments. right?
Yeah, yeah. One of the things Alan will do is he'll like take something we talked about and just go do it, and we're like, oh, well, okay,
Let's see what happens.
we'll see what happens.
Things, Jeff and I were like, I don't know, man. He's like, I'm gonna do it. And we're like, okay, let's go, bro. Let's see what happens. It's great.
Oh man, I don't know how these YouTubers do this on their phone all the time. I'm not used to using my phone for this, man.
Yeah, I don't like doing it on the phone either. I know. If you want to take time to set your other gear up, man, go for it. We're okay. I mean,
Yeah, I'm good, man.
we're an hour into it though. I'm just saying. Alan said he posted his number for anyone who doesn't have it and has questions. Text his best and let him know who you are. Yeah, like look, Alan, myself. I don't know Jeff. I think Jeff is kind of at the same. Text if you text me and I don't know who you are, it's gonna take a minute for me to respond sometimes because I'm like, who the hell is this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So first text to any of us, hey, this is James Vaughn. Oh, sweet. You know what I mean? And because I definitely am not answering phone calls from people I don't know. It's just
Right.
a thing. CW said Chrome just hung up on him. I hate when that happens. It's really terrible when it happens during a show. I've had it happen once, I think, here.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, when I ducked out just then, all I did was turn my phone around and
Yeah.
it kicked me out.
I saw you rotating the phone and it was like boop. I was like, oh no, there he goes. That's fun stuff. Jeff and I are in the final stages. I should actually say Don is in the final stages of getting our little ebook done that we've been talking about. So that's awesome. We're putting some dresses on it and a little lipstick and make that thing a pretty thing. Make it look all fancy and snazzy and stuff. And that's going to be in the private group for sure for people that are over there in the community that we built. That will be available to you guys there for sure. And it's going to be part of a marketing campaign that Jeff and I are working on to get our information out there in front of more people.
Yep.
So that's going to be fun. The podcast stuff is in the works as well. Jeff and I have some recording we have to do for our first 2 or 3 episodes that we need to knock out intro and outros to. Just haven't had the time to get them done, which is a bummer. But we are working on that, and that should be coming to fruition very soon. The Road Warrior Entrepreneurs podcast, that's going to be fun to do. That'll be a weekly basis. So yeah. Hey, and any of you who may be catching this, if you aren't already, if you wouldn't mind, maybe think about subscribing to the channel.
Yeah.
You can hit that little subscribe button down there.
And by the way, so unless something goes really wrong in the next couple of weeks, the podcast will actually be premiered on the Pod Wheels Podcast Network.
Powered by Radio Nemo. That's awesome.
So, it's one of those things. If you guys remember, we were on the show, what was it, in April? With Jimmy Mack in April or May or something like that. And we met these people, and they were looking for some talent, I guess you could say.
Content. Content. Otherwise, it makes
content.
Heads.
It's they've already got CFO for the accounting bit. They've got an insurance company, not Seabright, but another insurance company filling that slot. And they were just really looking for a couple of dudes talking about trucks. And we were there, and we got talking to them. And so, yeah.
That's been a long ongoing process, and that's going to be a cool thing. I think I can't wait for it to happen.
Yep.
It's very cool. And they're helping us with the production side of it. That's the awesome part. It saves me so much work. We were actually
Alan's lost almost 100 pounds. Holy crap.
What?
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Alan said, I've been absent from social media to focus on my business and health. That's a good thing right there. Both of those things are awesome, and I can absolutely appreciate that. And good on you, brother. Started focusing on my weight. April last year, I was 350. Now 255. Good on you, man. I bet you feel better too. Like physically and mentally just feel better. Because I know when it actually took me a couple of years to lose a full 100 pounds, but I lost a full 100 pounds. And it was amazing. The difference is, as you're starting, like the first 30, I lost 30 pounds the first month because that was just all water weight when I went keto. And that was amazing all by itself. And then it just progressively got better and better and better. But then as I was getting better with that, I was getting older and other things were going wrong. So it's just, oh my God, the whole thing.
And the education continues.
CW, he got jokes. Let's all send Alan a message saying, "Hi, this is Alan Becker." That's great.
This is Alan. This is Alan from the future.
Bear Hunter, you just made a friend for life. He said, "Damn, Alan, you lost to Rosie." He's trying to say Rosie's only 100 pounds. I'm not going to say anything beyond that. I'm just going to move on because I just realized that I'm putting myself in some dangerous territory.
Yes, you are.
Alan said, "That's what I've been doing. Keto, 30 gram carbs a day. Good for you, brother. Keep those macros going." Huh? I remember those words.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually to a point now where I'm more of a not keto, but more what's the other one? Dang it, I can't think of it.
Paleo.
Paleo, right? Which is just a little more seasonal when I can, still a lot of fatty red meat, good fatty red meat. I do that. And bacon. Bacon was my friend for the longest time, and I baconed myself out. I know that's like a torturous thing to say, but I did bacon myself out. I don't even understand how it was possible, but I did. But I still add tons of grass-fed butter to everything. Like I love to cook in butter. Oh man, I'll cook in a whole stick of butter. I don't even care.
I cook I sear my steaks in butter.
Oh God, I love it. Butter makes
and then
better.
and then I leave it in the pan, and I cook my eggs in it the next morning.
Mm-hmm. That is fantastic, sir. Kerrygold's not bad. There are better, and there are better flavored butters out there, but Kerrygold's the easiest one to find. The only problem with Kerrygold, and this is a documented thing, is not all of their butter is grass-fed all the time, because they do grain feed their cattle in the winter. And you'll actually, when you get one of those batches of butter, you will notice that it is slightly different in color, consistency, and flavor. At least I did. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And I did some research on it and found out, quit crushing your can, bro. It's really loud. Oh my God. But yeah, so there was a thing there. I like Plugra is amazing. What is the other one? God, there's a couple. Presidente is a good one. All these we find at Walmarts in various places around the country. Some have one and don't have the other. All the Walmarts have Kerrygold that I've seen. Vital Farms. Vital Farms has become my favorite. Absolutely. Like if I can get Vital Farms, it's a little expensive, but I love the flavor of that butter. And it's 100% grass-fed. They do eggs too. Pasture raised, free range, the whole 9 yards. It's great. Those are awesome. Love their eggs and their butter. Man. But for the most part, most of Kerrygold's butter is 100% grass-fed. I believe their grain is a grass grain mix that they winter with. But yeah, it's a thing. So it's not 100% where some of the others are. Rosie's coming in to yell at me for something, I'm sure. Oh no, she just came to get her slippers. I thought I was about to get hit. I thought, man, I didn't say anything smart.
She's reloading. What?
Right, reloading. Oh. CW said, Alan, this is considered social media also. Yeah, he's actually been gone from here for months too. Like he hasn't been here at all. It's been weird. It's really weird. And
we were starting to think he didn't like us anymore.
Right? It was hurting our feelings a little bit. I got mad jokes to say. I'm just gonna leave them. Good mixture and heavy cream and about 30 you will have butter
minutes.
Oh, a good mixer and heavy cream. Yeah. But you also want to make sure that your heavy cream is grass fed. Because I've done that. And look, that's the only buttermilk I've ever liked in my life is buttermilk that I've gotten from butter I've made. Buttermilk in the store to me is terrible.
Alan, I was not going to mention that, but okay.
I'm not even putting that. I'm not putting that comment up. I'm just gonna leave it there. I was not going there.
I wasn't getting in the middle of that again.
Just realized my light on the right is a
So
different
so
color.
the thing
the
thing, Charlie, I learned about keto, because I'm
Uh-huh.
on and off again.
Oh, yeah.
I get scared with my blood sugar and I go back on, force myself to do it.
Right.
It is hard, mainly because I'm a truck driver and
Mhm.
keeping enough keto food on the truck. That's why I've got this big butt. See that? Why I did
Good
there?
catch. You caught it.
That's why I had the big freezer on the truck, so I can pack a bunch of red meat, chicken, and pork. Um, the quality of what you eat becomes really important
Right.
when you're eating a high fat diet, because there is that danger, of the whole clogged artery thing. If you're not eating high quality stuff, that'll happen, is what I found out.
Whole, real food, unprocessed is key.
Yep.
The processing is what screws us all up. All the additives and all the other crap, and they take out so many of the things that are good, thinking that they're fixing it, and it's just weird, man. I don't even understand it. When I started reading all the science behind it, I was like, why do they do that? Well, they add sugar to make you buy more of that food because you're a carb hungry, starving person.
Mm-hmm.
Your body will only store 24 hours worth of carbs to use as energy. And at that point, you are now starving. At least your body thinks so, until you convert over into a state of ketosis where you start burning fat. Your body, on the other hand, will store somewhere around 30 days worth of energy in fat.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in ketosis, stay in ketosis because it is a much better burn. And what's funny is the more fat you eat, the more fat you burn. It's the most odd
It's
thing.
weird.
I don't understand it, but it works. It's like a thing. There's science. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the really interesting one to me that kind of changed my mind about the whole keto thing, because like everybody else, I'm like, well, food pyramid, whatever, and fat bad, and you're going to kill your heart.
Right.
They had two triathletes at the Ironman Hawaii that were in ketosis the whole time.
That's awesome.
They had to eat constantly while they were in the event, like those whatever you call them, those
emotion. Do that again.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
those shot things that you can get that are like mostly
That
fat.
is going to be a short if there ever was one.
No, because Donna's in charge of them.
Right. Thank God.
But yeah, so that kind of changed my mind and made me look into it more, especially as a diabetic, because for a diabetic, especially, it's the carbs that'll kill me. So
good mixer is called a bartender, says CW. I'm not going to disagree with you. A good mixer for making butter that I found was I had a Ninja blender that had that it was like a big container and then a piece you put inside with two blades in it, and the motor was on top, and you push the button and it's like bzz. That was great for making butter, man, because you could literally do it in about 10 minutes. From heavy cream to whole smooth great butter in about 10 minutes. Amazing. Oh, just saying.
I thought you were going to say your son.
Stop it.
Well, that's what kids are for, right?
Right.
Turn the butter.
Right. Again with the gestures. My God, Jeff, you just set them up, and I am not allowed to touch them. James said since he's Sikh, he eats more vegetables when he's out on the road and only eat meat at home, and that's because of the kosher thing. So I get it.
That makes sense.
Wait, so now I'm curious. Is that like Muslims do halal meat has to be processed a certain way from the time that it's on the hoof to the time that it's processed? Is that like the same thing, James? Or is it completely different process? I'm just curious.
Well, he said earlier that he can't eat meat that's prepared by any religion, basically.
Oh, interesting.
So
I missed that.
It would be interesting to like go have dinner with James and just ask a bunch of questions.
And he corrected me. I apologize for the enunciation. He said it. By the way, it's sick, not seek. So there you go. Hey man, again, something. Look at that. I'm not getting mad because someone corrected me, Jeff. Who'd have thought? Was I going back to some old stuff? My bad. That was cool. Let's see. There was something else I want to talk about. I wonder if it was in the Facebooks. I can't remember where it went. I might have to scroll back through some stuff. Apparently, the discount fuel market's going up tonight. I remember seeing that from Angel. That was awesome.
Yeah.
0.02 is the expected jump from the NASDAQ side, which gives us a pretty good idea on what's going on in the discount fuel market. 0.02, in case I didn't say that. We had some really good conversations this week in the private group.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of back and forth. There was some absolute garbage things that happened, but whatever. I'm trying not to focus on those.
So here's something that was interesting. We had this really long conversation yesterday with a guy about being an owner operator.
Oh yeah,
and here's the thing: this dude, unless I totally misread him, he has no ambitions whatsoever to be an owner operator.
He had, that's why he looked.
But he asked better questions than almost everybody that's asked me about being an owner operator.
Mm-hmm. And once again, we didn't get into a fight about it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he wait, and he even corrected us because we had put up the wrong sliding pay scale. Right? Mm-hmm. Just in a hurry, we put up the wrong sliding pay scale, and he corrected that. And you know what we did? We modified ours and said, "Hey, man, oops." Crazy stuff. I know, it's funny. Oh man, I just look. Okay, so I've got a bit of a issue when people call us out the way some of them do. I don't mind being called out and corrected. I really don't. I mean, come at it with proof and show me the error of my ways. I'm down. Don't just say I'm wrong and I'm an idiot, because that's not going to get you anywhere. It just makes me want to be like, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because then it becomes a defensive thing, and it's weird when you're attacking people. But I mean, like the anti-gel thing. I just think that video was fascinating, and to the point where I'm going to go back and watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because the testing this guy did was fascinating to me, and he absolutely showed a difference in the products, an absolute difference in what they did. And I was like, well, all right.
I must have bailed out of that conversation before all that went down. So there's a video now.
There is. Craig put up a video that did a bunch of these products side by side, froze them at minus 20 degrees in a controlled setting in these big jars, and checked the corrosive protection, I mean, all of this stuff. It was great. It was really a neat thing. He even took the Rescue 911 stuff and drove a gas engine on just that stuff, because apparently it was the most flammable of all of them.
Oh, really?
And drove it the length of his airfield, his grass strip out on his property, and only got 1 mile per hour less in 2 runs with just driving on the Rescue 911. I think it was the Rescue 911 thing, and versus actual like 86 octane gas.
That's interesting.
The stuff burned like gas in his motor, in a 450 motor.
So
454.
That's interesting.
It really was an interesting thing.
Because if it's got that kind of BTUs, then it's probably not messing with our fuel mileage as much as other additives then.
But you know what? Here's the thing. It was actually one of the worst working products on the anti-gel.
Oh, well, okay.
It freaked me out, right? Because they're saying Rescue 911, put it in when you freeze, right?
Well, Rescue 911 pays a lot to SiriusXM to put those commercials out.
In his test, 911 did not do well. He did.
So that would be interesting. Who was it that used that a couple of weeks ago?
Mark Olinger did.
Mark Ollinger.
and had the
Yeah.
derate problem afterwards
Yeah.
because it took longer for it to actually to degel. And yeah, the filters were still clogged. So I mean, there was a thing. Anyhow, those of you in the private Facebook Swift group for Contractors Corner, watch that video. That was really cool. It's a great side by side comparison the way the guy did the testing. I really dug it.
We should put it out public.
Oh, here I can put that in the show notes. Let me find a link to. I got to do it now before I forget, Jeff. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm going to get to Alan here real quick. Alan says, I still need to save money to switch the fleet to ESA. I'm working on it, but I had a couple bad weeks that made me work out of a hole, but I'm still above water. So, Alan, that's one of the things, good on you for recognizing that. I think a lot of times, and this is me talking, Mr. Mindset, we don't celebrate the fact that we made it out of a hole like that. And I think that deserves a little bit of appreciation. And I also want to say, that ESA card, that is the biggest hurdle to that card, is that it is prepaid. I mean, you can set it up for auto deduction out of a bank account, but if you're not making money, that doesn't do you any good either, right? To get those discounts, it requires an initial investment into the card. But I'm telling you, man, once you get it fully funded, quote unquote, which in my opinion on a solo truck, I like to have $5,000 on that card, because that way, when I do hit those weeks that are really bad like that, I've got enough to keep the truck going at those discounted prices for a little while, and I can kind of cash flow it a little bit. So yeah. Gold to go says 911 is not an anti-gel. It's not supposed to be used as such. It's supposed to unfreeze frozen gel, more alcohol based, I'm sure. Yeah, you're right about that. But what we saw real world with the guy, like I said, Mark Ollinger, one of our people, was he used that in his truck because he had a gelling issue and still had problems after using it. So I don't know. Alan Becker again, you're on fire today, bro. So Pittsburgh Power makes a blow-by catch can that I'll be installing on the truck. Its purpose is to keep all the oil from not coating the underside of the trucks. Like when you're got an oil leak? I hope you don't have an oil leak. Do you know what that's about, Charlie?
Installing on the trucks, its purpose is to keep all the oil. Well, I don't know how to say. I don't know what that's called. Oh, the blow by tube. Because I have a slang term for it that probably will get me in trouble on here.
Okay.
The donkey dong. I can say that. Donkey
he says blow by tube. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the blow by tube, even with minimal blow by, there's still some oil that comes out of that blow by. It's just part of the thing. And it does tend to coat the underside of these trucks. Older trucks have that way more, and as blow by gets worse and rings start to wear, does become a problem, even though it's still not really a problem to in frame or do that yet. Chewy has tremendous mess that's created by the blow by tube. It's so hard not to say the other term. Gosh. Oh my gosh, it is. And so that's probably a neat thing. That'll be interesting. And here's a link. It's already in the show notes. It'll be at the top of the description on this week's show. But for anyone who's interested, here's a link to right there. You can look at it. It's in the chat, and I will throw it up on the screen as well. It's kind of a hard thing to. If you're in the chat, I think you can highlight it and copy it. If not, it will be in the show description. So at the end of the show, you'll see the show, and there's a description section that most people ignore for whatever reason, even though there's a ton of information in there. By all means, check that out. It's right at the top, and it was produced by, I want to make sure I call this guy out because it's cool. It's a great video. Project Farm is the channel. The dude's got 3 million subscribers, so he doesn't really need a whole big bump from us. That's for sure. But hey, you know what? If you watch that video and you watch it because of this show right here, let them know, hey man, these guys on Contractors Corner were talking about you and this video.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a little conversation going.
And let us know what you think of the video, what your thoughts are.
I thought
Let's get a discussion going on that, because
I really think this was a cool video, because Jeff and I for years have thought, because of other industry experts would say, oh, they're all the same. I can tell you this video changes that thought for me.
Well, and we feel like it's a more crucial conversation right now,
right?
Because we're seeing more guys getting stuck out in this cold weather than we've ever seen. Something's not right. I don't know what it is. I can't prove it, but we're seeing way more people out just stuck.
Having seen what happened to me this weekend in Birmingham at 13 degrees with the water temperature dropping below an actual readable number, I can absolutely see where these trucks are gelling up, even though they're idling, because the truck's not warming the engine enough to keep the gel from happening.
Right.
So even if it's circulating, it's just not enough. And maybe it's like I had asked Alan earlier, maybe it's the thermostat being open and just being stuck open. He said, but even still, you need the winter front on these newer trucks. So maybe it's just a heat efficiency thing, because some of the older trucks would overheat very easily in what I thought was not really bad temperatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in combating that, it's made them more susceptible or vulnerable in the colder temperatures, because they are so good at dissipating the heat. And a side effect of that is now more trucks are going to gel up in the winter, pressing the need for these winter fronts to keep that from happening. I don't know. I think there's some learning going on these latest years of, at least for the Freightliners. I mean, well, Mark Olinger is running a Kenworth. His is 4 years old, 3 years old, something like that. Maybe some of you guys can chime in, that had these gel problems recently. What year truck was it, and what brand of truck was it? I'm really curious to see if there's a differential. I know that's been a problem for all the OEMs, the overheating issues in the past, and maybe they've all figured out how to stop that from happening, but now it causes this problem in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got some really good comments on that. Alan says, so need to think like this. The fuel filter on a Cummins is the thin metal, so it'll absorb that cold air and freeze internally faster than the Davco.
Yep.
Okay. I've actually heard that before too, from other guys, that they have weird equipment on the Cummins, but whatever.
Right.
And Gold to Go Logistics, the refiners use a statewide low temperature average for each state in order to determine how much anti-gel they put in their bulk fuel. It's being colder than the average lows in most places. Yeah, that's kind of where we were going with it.
Yeah, I touched on that last week. I thought, well, maybe they're just not treating for cold enough, and what was predicted to be the cold was not. It was actually colder than what they were anticipating.
Yeah. CW says Virginia wrote him a fix-it ticket for excessive lubrication back in '96 for blow-by.
That's funny. Excessive lubrication.
Oh, no. Moving on.
Come on, man. There's so many jokes there. Don't I get one? Gosh. Oh, my Lord.
And Craig Hutchinson, he says he uses Hot Shot Secret and love it.
I think Hot Shot Secret was one of the top finishers in that, wasn't it, Craig?
Was it?
I believe it was. I think it was one of the best performing products on his list. He did a Power Service Diesel, House, Hot Shots, Stanadyne. He did there's more. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Power Service Diesel Supplement, House Diesel Lubricator, Stanadyne Performance Formula, Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel, AMSOIL Synthetic Dominator. That was a true two-stroke oil that he tried for something else. It did like nothing for anti-gelling, and it's a true two-stroke oil, but someone had asked him to check it out. So that was part of the test. But it was all interesting stuff. And he used a summer grade number 2 diesel oil tested using summer grade number 2 diesel motor oil. Anyhow, go watch the video. Do it after this show.
Yeah, of course, Donna, she does this to me all the time.
It's a 14-minute video.
Maybe we should just ask Bruce.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't need no directions, Charlie. We know where we're going.
Greg said yes, they were number 1 for all the tests. Yeah, so they did on what the lubricity of them was. He did a neat test there. He did how they protect against corrosion, against or oxidation rather. He had a piece of steel that he treated with one was just untreated, and he treated these sections along these taped off sections with each of the products, and then used I believe it was hydrogen peroxide on the raw steel to create the oxidation. And it was fascinating to watch for me because I'm a nerd and I love watching the scientific process, right? I like seeing things like that, and that was a neat one because you got to see the side-by-side comparisons all on the same piece of steel.
Oh, hey! Speaking of scientific stuff,
all right.
So talking to Becky Campbell at the owner-operator division at Swift that offered to do this for us on her own. Here's something we would like to get, guys, on the show. We would like to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on our show.
Oh my gosh!
To discuss the science of drag coefficients and fuel mileage. And we think that he would be great because he could talk to dumb people and make them understand. And we are absolutely kind of on that end of the spectrum. So what Becky's going to do is she's going to start emailing his people as well and say, hey, these guys, Contractors Corner, they'd like to have you on and talk about this thing. If you would like to see that, start bombarding his email.
I've been trying for a while to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on here to talk about the physics of trucking, because that man can make the simple of us, this guy right here, understand physics. I love watching this man's videos. I am a huge fan, and I just can't help it. It is great. Life on 18
Life on 18 wheels. I am not pointing the finger at anybody but myself.
Right here, this guy. This is the big one. This is the
the thing that fascinates me about him, Charlie, is like that the dude that he's usually on the guy's podcast and YouTube show.
Right.
He's just a regular guy like us.
Right.
And yet Neil deGrasse Tyson, by the end of like 10 minutes, this dude understands this complex physics thing.
Right.
He just has a way of explaining stuff, man.
So goal-to-go logistics, goal to go. I'm sorry. I struggle with brain starts adding letters. Anyhow, goal to go logistics. Sometimes you don't need to use anti-gel. I know Creed as a company policy does not use anti-gel, and the reason is they have opti-idle. I know you said optical, which cycles the engine on and off all night, which will prevent the freezing. So, but here's my argument to that is what I experienced this week in Birmingham. I think people are experiencing this all over. And it wasn't until I experienced it myself that I saw the problem and now feel like I have a basic understanding of the problem. Whether it was the thermostat staying open, I don't know, or if it was just the absolute efficiency the motor has in doing away with heat from the motor, because we had not shut off the truck all night long. We drove from Florida to Birmingham, right? Someone's about to run into you, Jeff. Duck. Anyhow, and the crazy part is it didn't. We were at 140, 150 degrees when we parked, and I have a high idle of 900 on my Freightliner, which is set as soon as I set the brakes. It pops up from 500 to 900, so I have a high idle already, and my water temperature dropped below 100 to the point where it was, my lowest meter reading is 100 degrees, and it dropped below 100 and started blowing cold air, which means that the motor is not warm enough to even cycle that fuel to keep it from gelling. Had we gotten a little colder and waited a little longer, I may have actually experienced gelling in that situation.
Well, and we know guys running up north, like Sirius, Canada, that their fuel has gelled up at the fuel pump.
Right.
You know, I mean, you get into those extreme cold temperatures. But yeah, I mean, there's something different now. I don't know if it's new trucks, if it's the anti-gel that they put in the
I
bulk
think
fuel,
maybe
or if it's a combination.
Yeah, it's like a tragedy, a comedy of tragedies all happening at once.
But you know, I've never used anti-gel, never had a problem.
Me too.
I just idle my truck if the temperature overnight while I'm sleeping is going to be below 15 degrees. I
Right.
idle the truck all night. But I'm talking to guys that they do that and they still gel up. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
And at 13 degrees with already a warm engine, it had not been turned off. I just want to reiterate that. And this is important to me. It had not been turned off. So we drove, 400 miles, 380 miles at whatever it is from Lake City to Birmingham, right? Had never turned the truck off. Rosie took her 30-minute break, never turned the truck off, kept it idling the whole time. And had that problem. And I think it's fascinating. And again, I have never, I used back when I first started trucking, I was told to use anti-gel, and I did the first couple winters that I was trucking. And then I never used it after that. And I was running, Kent, Washington to City, Nebraska, or Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, 2 or 3 times a week, with times where we were shut down and never gelled.
Yeah.
So
Tell me if this isn't true, Charlie. Is Prairie du Chien just one of the most beautiful places you've ever been to?
it really is a very neat place. And I love running that road along the river.
Oh man. I love it up there, man.
It is just beautiful.
I told Donna
In the summer, it's great.
I told Donna that one of these days we're going to go to that town for vacation. I don't know if there's anything to do there. I just wanted to see it.
Right. Right. That's a great place to see eagles too around there. I saw a lot when I was there. Alan said he still uses air brake antifreeze. So not in my wheelhouse, right? And I never have in the past either, and just never had problems with it. I don't know. It's been weird. So I mean, I think with these newer trucks, there's a different thing happening.
Here's a question for Alan. Now that we've got his attention again,
Alan.
So my air dryer. First of all, I think I told you before that the air dryer on my 2016 was underneath the sleeper. Really hard to change that cartridge, but anyway. So the new truck, of course, it's in the passenger front, right? So it's doing this when it evacuates. It goes psh, 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 psh. It's not one long steady psh. And Charlie and I were talking about this. Is that an issue? Do I just need to change that cartridge out? What do you think? I mean, they were supposed to do all that before I picked the truck up, right? But
I'm saying it's an air cartridge issue. I've noticed it on mine. Mind you, I asked him, have you ever had a single psh,
I have now.
Pressure? Oh, okay. But he hadn't at the time I asked him, he said, no, I haven't. So that was a thing. Mine does it intermittently. It's a psh, 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 psh. And then I'll be driving down the road and then I'll get a good psh, like it's supposed to do. It's fun. Alan's got a question. Sounds like the purge valve is going bad. So
okay.
Yeah, his is doing it, mine is doing it. I think that changing I'm not gonna say it's the purge valve going bad yet. I think the filter. I don't think they're changing the filters like they said they were or should have been, because I know for a fact that part of one of the things they're supposed to do on one of my services was change that filter. I have no way of knowing if they did or not because I didn't mark it. I will now be marking that filter with a Sharpie to find out if they changed it. And if they didn't, I'm going to be upset. And the service I'm doing now at 200,000 miles, I believe that's one of the things that they are supposed to do. So I'm going to find out if it's done, because I swear that's one of the things at 100,000 or something like that.
Matt Nissen says that they did change his and his still does it.
Really?
So, and here's something too. So you guys know our opinion about the Swift shop. Those of you are for our Swift brothers and sisters and others. You need to check up on their work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if your plan, which is a viable plan, and we could talk numbers about it if you want to, but if your plan is to take a brand new truck, put it into MRP, and they're not doing everything in that maintenance schedule, that could jeopardize that deal.
Yep. And it'll fall on you, not them. That's the crazy part. Even though you
Yep.
said do these things.
Yep. So make sure they're actually doing them. And what Charlie and I have decided we're going to do is on anything that we can see filter wise, we're going to sign it, and then we'll know if it was changed when it was supposed to be changed.
I'm looking through the schedule now to see. Check air dryer cartridge.
Yep.
That is on the 100,000 mile schedule. Schedule 3.
Check but not replace.
Ah, see, look at that. That's words are important. Check.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had a discussion with people in the division about a certain case, and this driver was charged for tires on a truck that was turned in. And so we're trying to figure out what the deal with that is.
Right. There's a whole thing with that.
So, and we dug into the contract for this person, and we're looking at it, and we're talking to the division about it and seeing what we can do. The contract itself, if you read it, it could kind of go either way. Right, Charlie?
Right. Yeah.
That's what we figured out.
There was
and with the other thing we found out from the division was that some of these shops, when they're doing a truck turn in, they're just going down this checklist. Oh, the tires need to be replaced, it says, so they do it. They're not checking the tread depth.
Yeah.
They're just doing it because it's on the checklist. But the contract says 30 seconds.
So yeah,
they get replaced.
So here's the funny thing. On truck turn in, like if you're completing a lease, it says 30 seconds on drive tires minimum, 30 seconds on steer tires minimum. On a truck termination, it has to be what the tread was when you got it, when it was leased. Whatever.
That's what
contractual.
That's what they pay lawyers for.
Right. So I mean, there is a weird thing. And it was two completely different things. And so it's very confusing.
And one of the discussions Charlie and I was having was my truck, my 22, technically a used truck, but it's under 3 years old. So it's a new truck lease.
Right.
I didn't get new tires on this truck.
Right. He estimated that he's probably around that 13 or 14, 30-second mark.
Yeah.
Eyeballing it.
Yeah. Because like an idiot, I didn't get my gauge out.
It happens, man.
Well, we tell people inspect the truck before you take possession, but it didn't. The tires looked good, so I was like, okay, good. It didn't even occur to me. You know what I mean? So, CW says always check after any shop. Yeah, I mean, like in the auto mechanic world, my dad taught me years ago, if a mechanic changes a part, you make sure that they give you that old part.
Yep.
You want to see that part that got taken out and make sure they actually did it. And inspect it, because if they said it was broken, it better dang well be broken.
Right. If you see fresh screwdriver marks on it and a hammer mark, you might want to question them. I'm just saying.
Yep.
I knew a guy that happened to. Just saying. They're like, yeah,
dude, I was
broken, bro.
I was at a shop somewhere in Louisiana years ago. And it was when I had Big Blue, the T2000. Man, I miss that truck. Anyway, but I was at a Freightliner dealership because they were the only people around, right? Because that's the way things happen sometimes. This other dude came in for a starter, right? And the mechanic had the starter in his hands, and he asked the dude, he's like, "So driver, can you explain these dents along the side?"
Yeah.
Apparently, and I would have never done what he did anyway, and he denied it, but the hammer marks were there. He was beating on the side of it to get it to engage. Well, that voids the warranty.
Can I share something here? If you use a softer wood and a mallet to tap
same
against
thing with
solenoid,
right?
right?
Same reason why we use
Damage
soap it's the same reason why we use soap in socks in the Army.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about, but yes,
Mhm.
doesn't leave marks. Those of you who know, you know. Or what's the phrase? If you know, you know. Anyhow,
Yeah.
we're going to move on from that one because, there's weird things about that, I think.
Well, in 2023, it's not kosher to
It's 24, Jeff.
whatever.
Get with the
Leave me
time.
alone.
Hey, if you guys got other things you want to talk about, by all means, throw them up in the chat, guys. If you're watching this on the replay and we didn't touch on something you'd like us to touch on, make sure you tell us what you want us to talk about. This show is driven by you guys, the community, and we appreciate that. I mean, we come up with some things we'd like to talk about every now and then and try and get some conversation going. But the majority of what we try to talk about is what's important to you. Your trials, your tribulations, your questions, your comments. That's what's driving this show. So, keep that in mind. And if you're watching this on the replay, let us know down in the comments. Hey, I'm a replay dude. We got a couple of regular replay folks that are pretty awesome. I love it. And hey, me, Sean Fairman. Sean Fairman is here live. That's awesome.
Weird.
It's weird.
No.
Wait, he had a question. Here's a dumb question. Do the new DD15s have a crankcase oil filter? I don't know.
Alan says no, they stopped doing that in
No
2015.
crankcase filters went away in 2015. Look at that. Smart people. This is why I love our community, because we get answers to a lot of things that Jeff and I are like, I don't know, man. Oh, look, you just saw it happen. Like, I didn't know. And one of our guys did. How awesome is that?
Alan, any talk or discussions about contractors get together this year? Nothing formal.
Right.
I mean, we're down to show up wherever you guys want to show up. We're
in Florida.
We might not do it this year because we've just got, man, you guys don't even know. We're working on stuff in the background to try and get some stuff for you guys. But what we're thinking about doing is a yearly virtual summit. That way we can get more people the information that we want to get them. And people don't have to drive all the way to the opposite coast to get there. I think that would probably be the format we settle on. But as far as a get together, I mean, we could talk about it in the ether and figure out when people can be where, and we'll do something. I think it'd be fun.
After it's not cold.
I'm all for going out to Charlie's property and
shooting guns.
Little pew pew therapy.
Yes.
He's got a range out there, so.
Absolutely. We got some stuff you could do. I'm just saying.
Yeah, assuming that we're.
Imagine a big group of people coming down here for that, and then everybody needs a load. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, assuming that we get invited to Driver Appreciation Week next year, we'll be there. Well, I mean, the fact is that we're broadening our scope of what we do, and we have other carriers that are in our sites to get a hold of contracts and start helping their people as well. So Swift is no longer the only carrier that we're working with, and so if that creates a conflict, so be it. We're trying to help as many people as we can.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be, it would just be business, guys. It's not like Swift's going to say, oh, up yours, Contractors Corner. No, we're actually friends with these people. It's not like they would treat us like that, but there is business to consider.
See, Blackbeard said next year we should all meet up at Matt's. Jeff and I were actually just having a discussion about Matt's.
Yeah, we could actually get press passes. We were looking into it.
We were discussing actually showing up at Matt's this year.
Yep.
And whether or not we can pull it off and be there. It's not like we're going to set up a booth or anything. That's crazy talk.
But, that's like thousands of dollars to do that.
But we are talking about showing up there and walking around, maybe shooting some video and talking to some people. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Bear Hunter said,
Alan,
right? That's great.
Alan, stop it.
Sorry.
Alan says he'll be at the Phoenix for driver appreciations next year with his whole fleet and a couple of driver ready units. That's outstanding. Yeah, I'm optimistic that my project will have taken off by then, Alan, with at least one other truck.
Let me jump to Chris here real fast. Did they send you a load, Chris? He's asking dumb question. How do you know when to turn down a load? Just starting. Don't want to piss off a planner right off. New. He knew Orlando was going to be a tough out. So if they sent you something already, what'd they send you? And tell me why you might want to turn it down. How's that? Otherwise, I look, man, if it's something getting you out of Florida, even if it's a day or two, you got to sit on it. It may be worth taking.
What I would recommend is call Sue Smith and find out what the real skinny is on freight out of there.
We actually reached out to her earlier today on it. What she told me was that, because I actually reached out to her for Chris. Don't know if he had reached out. I told him to reach out to her as well. Don't know if he made it to her on time or if he could get through to her. But what she had said was that they were getting people planned out just about every day. They were clearing everything out. But they are crappy loads and don't turn it down, is what she told me. Don't be picky.
Yeah, I mean, on the other part of our industry, the independent owner operators that I talk to, they get paid a really good rate to go into places like Orlando, LA, and then the rate out is just crap. There's no other way to put it. And so in Orlando specifically, what these guys are telling me is they try and at least pay for fuel to get up to Atlanta. Because in Atlanta, they've got several lanes they can run and get some decent freight out of there.
Right.
So good rate into Florida if you're an independent. You're going to take it in the shorts getting out, but Atlanta is really not that far. If you can at least cover fuel to get up there. And so if that's what those guys are doing, I'm saying at Swift, if they can get you out of Florida, take it. That's kind of the deal.
Chris doesn't have a load yet, so he's just looking ahead. I get it. Alan said, "Yeah, I take anything to get out of Florida. Yeah, like even if you have to sit on it a day or two. I mean, if it's longer than that you have to sit on it, maybe you can ask about calling in Decatur, which is Atlanta, or something along those lines. I mean, that's a discussion to have. I don't know that I would turn it down getting out of there. I would,
I would even be willing to pay that $75 fee to
for the call fee, right? If they would even let you. I mean, that's if they'd let you. It's all a weird thing. And Chris said, I wasn't sure I should have taken the Orlando in the first place. That's definitely something to think about. But I mean, this is just so everybody knows, this is Chris's second load as a contractor, brand new to Swift. Only
I can tell you in the before times when things were better, they could not get me to go to Orlando without bribing me with a load out first.
Right.
I would not go there without a stack. And so a lot of times I would get something like from Memphis to Orlando, and then Orlando to Decatur, which then got me a load to Texas. That's the way it used to go. Right now, I can't guarantee that. But if you could get up to Atlanta, as close as you can get to Atlanta, much better market than that Orlando market.
Alan said he's going to be in Ocala tomorrow. CW says he votes Ocala and we meet up at Charlie's. Okay. Crypto Izzy. Hello. Hi. I just like that name. I have a niece.
It's a good one.
We call her Izzy. She's Isabel. We call her Izzy. I like it. That's a great name. Crypto Izzy. I'll dig it. You and Bitcoin John, I feel like should talk. I don't know why. Just saying. Chris Hamilton said not turning down anything out. Yeah. Do what you got to do to get out of this market. Let's just be real. It's going to be a tough market, but she did say that they were pretty much clearing out the board every day. So I mean that's a thing. I mean, we've had stretches where you were sitting 2 or 3 days and there was nothing to even keep you busy. That was just busy work. So I mean, there's something there.
Alan wants some good advice.
Alan said, take advantage of anything in your first 30 days. Stack up those miles as you don't have a truck payment for 30 days. but I recommend taking out your truck payments every week still and setting maintenance 10 cents. Yeah, I'm a advocate for 20 cent a mile maintenance accounts from the start. I actually, so it's funny. Chris and I actually had this discussion, and I said, if you set your maintenance account to 20 cents now, starting out, right, you don't have to adjust it up later. And
Right.
you don't notice the difference because it's not going into your bottom line now, right? So you're not losing it later to make up for what you need, if that makes sense. So my,
Right.
my advice was to actually start off at 20 and leave it there for eternity. And when you need the money for other things, use it for what you need it for, whatever. And but that way you're not accustomed to needing and having that money in your bottom end.
Right.
It's just a thing. Uh,
So I'll put in here too, though. And this is something that actually that remember I mentioned earlier that I listened to a podcast with Robert Kiyosaki today.
right.
That guy, I don't even know how he does what he does, but anyway, one of the things that he said is that there are a lot of ways to get rich, but the higher the risk you take, the more skilled you need to be.
Right.
So I would say that the 20 cents, Charlie, is a lower skill option. But if you have the discipline, you have the wherewithal, and you have the skill, basically the business acumen, to split the difference there and put 10 cents in your Swift maintenance account and 10 cents into a savings account that's
Right.
interest bearing, that is better. But as you saw with me, Charlie,
Yeah.
that did not work on my 16. I ended up not having enough money. Now, again, I have taken a bit of business over this whole getting a new truck thing. And the criticisms are legitimate, but I just want to put out there was a time when I had the money to replace the engine on that truck.
Right.
Just get a crate engine and be done. I had that kind of cash. Instead, what I did was I moved to Utah. So there you go.
Right. Bought a
And
house.
I would make that choice 10 times over.
Jeff moved to the east side. Moving on up to the east side.
So and I really dig these podcasts with these uber rich guys when they tell how they do stuff. Charlie and I were just talking about this because Kiyosaki is one of those dudes that has no cash. Like all of his wealth is in assets. And so we're having this conversation. How does the dude buy a pizza?
Right.
I get when you get that to that level, and we're getting a little I've got my own squirrel today, Charlie.
Yeah,
this podcast just really, really triggered me. But I get, you have your business, right, and all of its assets, and then you have your house that the business bought. It's now a business asset, so you're not paying personal tax on that. Your car is owned by the business. I get all of that. But how the heck do you buy a pizza?
Right. Or a Snicker bar out of a vending machine.
Yeah. I obviously they're not starving to death.
Right.
But that's an interesting thing to think about. If you ever got to that level,
So Trucker Tim said, I've never had to pay the 75 for a T-call. I never have either, but I have offered and it's just worked out. But it is an option.
It's in the contract. So
and sometimes in those markets where they don't want to T-call it, I mean, they don't have to approve it, but they can charge you the 75, and sometimes it's worth that $75. And what they do, allegedly, Rosie likes to use allegedly, what they do is they take that $75 and they pay it to the person who goes out and delivers that load. So, I mean, it's a cool thing. I really don't have a problem with it. Alan, to follow up, Alan said his whole fleet's actually at 20 cents.
So I want to address this Trucker Tim thing.
Yep.
My issue with having a high maintenance amount is not being able to make enough to take care of your personal finances. That is a thing.
Right.
And it's something that Charlie and I talk about amongst ourselves quite a bit, and why I forever have my maintenance account where it was. But here's the thing. You do a withdrawal from your maintenance account onto your Com Data card, and you know what you could do with that? You could pay your phone bill. You could pay your cable bill. You could pay this bill. You could pay that bill because it's a MasterCard. I decided to do the Charlie thing on this truck, and it's been an adjustment. No doubt. I have used it to pay my phone bill because I'm not used to that much money going in a maintenance account.
Right.
But you know what, though? When I had to do that was because I had a couple of really tough weeks and I barely
Yeah.
broke even on the business.
Yeah.
But I had that money sitting there,
It was
cash
nice.
that out and pay my phone bill.
Yep.
So it's almost like again, what's your discipline, what's your skill like? Because that's money that automatically gets set aside. I actually treat my savings accounts the same way. The concept, Charlie, of pay yourself first. That's how I pay
Right.
myself first. I put money in savings. And I actually do that transfer every settlement into my savings account. And then I do my books. If I need to take that money back out to pay something, I do that. But I've gotten in the habit of this is the percentage every week that I put in savings.
Right.
And it's about the habit. You may have to move it twice, which is kind of a pain, but it kind of makes you think about it too.
Right.
It's like, do I really need that thing? Or can I wait another week?
So Chris changed his to 20 today. Good on you, man. I hope it works out for you. I think it's a good way to start out. I mean, you can adjust it as you need to. I just think it's hard to go up when you've been down.
Here's the other thing too, guys. We hear a lot, guys, oh, I can't get that ES card funded. You know what else you can do with a withdrawal from your maintenance account onto your COM data card? Put it on the ES card.
Right.
So you do that for several weeks and, oh, look at that. I've got $3,000 in my maintenance account.
Right.
I'm going to take $2,000 out and put it on the ES card and start saving money on fuel.
Done it.
CW says, lately we've been running SoCal to Orlando and the deadhead to Miami to get a scrap load to Mobile. Yeah.
That's awesome right there. I like that.
That's a good turn, man.
Right. That's a great turn. Trucker Tim said, is that a dedicated lane that anyone can get on? You may have spilled a secret, bro. Oh my gosh. Look, always one a week, at least one. Izzy, I appreciate your question.
I appreciate your optimism.
Right. That load board. I don't even, and look, Jeff and I have been huge proponents. I've been fighting for this load board for 10 years. Like I can tell you, I personally have been fighting for a load board with management, with the leadership for well over 10 years. Screaming, begging, kicking, speaking professionally, sometimes not, I've been involved for 10 plus years on a load board. Right now, I don't even have the slightest idea. I just don't know.
I can tell you that they decided, because I talked to Jerry when I was in Phoenix last, cornered him on it. They've decided to fix what needs to be fixed to get it live and leave the rest for later. So those of you that are much more experienced in coding than I am can tell me if that's a good idea or not. My gut feeling is it's not. But, technically the load board has worked for months. There's one little glitch in it that made it so we had to send a message to our OOC and make absolutely sure that load was a real load.
Right.
But other than that, I literally just ran off the load board for about 3 months. Every once in a while I would have an issue, but it was pretty rare. So they are still committed to by the end of first quarter, but we've heard that before. I remain cautiously optimistic. Just remember that this is not like a DAT or a truckstop.com, guys. All you're going to be able to do with this thing is bypass the planners. That's it.
Hey, we're coming up on the end of this real quick, but I wanted to mention something that we've been starting to kind of hint at a little bit, but haven't actually, I don't think we've directly addressed it. Those of you who are not Swift contractors, a lot of you know that we were able to get an insurance package put together for our Swift contractors with a really good rate that far beats most of the industry rates out there. with amazing coverage and amazing service. We're on the verge of being able to offer a package for a contractor out there, no matter whether you're with Swift or not. We have a deal that's being put together now. It should be finalized here fairly soon. And so if you're out there, it doesn't matter what carrier you're with or anything like that. If you are one of our people and we get this thing going along, you're going to be able to step into that insurance program, and it's going to be pretty damn good.
Yep.
I can't give you specific rates yet. Some of that will depend on your MBR. I mean, let's just be real. Everybody's going to have to run that MBR. And if you've got a really bad MBR, there's probably not going to be a great rate for you. If you've got a, less than desirable MBR, there's going to be a rate for you. If you've got a okay MBR, we've got a rate for you. And if you've got a great MBR, we're going to have a rate for you. So there's going to be some really good prices and some really good coverage along with that. So I wanted to just touch on that a little bit and just kind of put a teaser out there a little bit. That's coming here really soon. We're putting together like a whole package deal. It's going to be pretty phenomenal, I think. Complete with a safety program and all these things that you can then take to that you can have for yourself to say, look, I am actually running a business. I have my own safety program. I have all of these things, checking off all these boxes to protect yourself from all of this crazy misclassification nonsense that's coming out there and being thrown at us every other day with a different little wording of this or that. So keep that in mind. It is something we're working on, and we're going to be able to offer that to non-Swift folks. You can call and get a rate right now. Not sure that package is together right now, but even if you're not a Swift contractor, give our folks at Seabright a call. You can reach out to them and say, hey, what's going on? And maybe when you call, they've got that package together and you're getting a better rate. And so, yeah. And if you're already associated to us through, mentioning Contractors Corner and that sort of thing, we may be able to change that if that package isn't available yet and becomes available soon. Call 800-366-6466 to reach out to the folks at Seabright. Give them a little space sometimes. Sometimes it may take them a little bit to call you back. You may have to leave a voicemail or something like that. They are a small firm for the most part, but they will get to you. So have patience.
Small firm with big results.
Amazing results. Like, seriously. Yeah, I can't say enough about these folks. And I really have grown to like these people. We speak to Tony a lot about other things, and Tony has been a tremendous mentor to Jeff and I. He has really schooled us on business things, on insurance things, on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, like we've talked about the new rules for the Fair Labor Act stuff, and we've learned so much from Tony and his people that we can actually speak about that now. It's been definitely a great experience for us. And that's 2 hours almost.
Yep.
Wow.
So we're going to wrap this thing, guys. We are just coming up on our 2 hour mark, which means we've got actually 2 minutes till about 8 p.m. Eastern time, because I start the show 2 minutes early. There's some weird things behind that. Anyhow. So Jeff, you got anything you want to wrap us up with this week?
I'm tired.
Yeah, it's a long day for you, brother. I know it. I've been at home all day and
driving fog all day. Fog, like I'll drive through snow. I'll drive through all that nasty weather that we get up in the Northwest. Fog just messes with my eyes, man.
That's a great statement right there, Craig. Keep doing the hard work. Stay positive. Have a great week, everyone. We will be back here like every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We will be here one way or another. Sometimes it's one of us, sometimes it's both of us. Somehow we will run a show every week. It is something we are absolutely dedicated to doing. And so, take care of each other, everybody. Look after each other. There's no one out here looking after us but us. And I'm glad that you all are here, and we do appreciate you taking the time to spend time with us every week. It does mean a great deal to us. So with that being said, leave comments below after the show. Let us know if there's something you want to talk about. If there's something we talk about that you think we're wrong on, put it down there in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's get a discussion going. You can catch us over on the Facebooks. Contractors Corner Consulting Group is a public page you can click and follow, and we post stuff there from time to time. We're going to be working on doing more there, and we will see you all next week. And even Rosie said, have a good night. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Contractors Corner.